Hello everyone, welcome to What Bug Are You? And today I'm just going to go over plant propagation. So essentially taking plants from one vivarium and moving it to another. So this is our 29-gallon crested gecko tank. There is our crested gecko cappuccino. And in this tank we had an assortment of plants. These were mostly grower's choice, meaning the vendor picked the plants for us. So here I have, I believe this one with the spotted yellow is a crouton, however you pronounce it. This might be a peperonia. Nonetheless, I cut some healthy stems from both of these plants. You can see the clipping there, it's about 45 degrees. I use a nice sharp pruner, sterilized, and made my clippings. So I took 2 clippings. I transferred our clippings to our dart frog enclosure, and they were placed in this canister in there. You see that canister was filled with water, and they sat in there for about a week or 2, week and a half. That's the transplanted croton, and that is the transplanted peperonia, if that's how you say it correctly. So the one thing I was conscious of was checking on the clippings until the roots were about ½ an inch and maybe had 3 or 4 roots. I did a test, and you can see here, I'll pull this out, but this is just a leaf. And I don't know if I can get a good picture here. Do it. So let's get some underneath the camera, but you can sort of see the roots on this. So I waited for it to be just enough roots, sort of long enough, and then just transplant it into the soil. So before doing all of that, the other thing that I was really conscious of was making sure that these were in a location where I could easily water and had good lighting. And even now, the transplants are in a location where I can easily water them and they have adequate lighting. So this was mostly a trial and error type of thing for me. As you can see, this tank, the plants are starting to get really big and starting to overgrow a little bit. So I chose to clip it and put it in that little canister as I showed earlier. But I guess there are different ways of doing these transplants. And this is mostly trial and error. I was gonna have to make some clippings anyways. I know some options are to wrap the clippings in sphagnum moss and water it and keep it in your tank. And that was the important part, was making sure that it was in a tank where the humidity was probably a little bit over 50%, so humid environment. Some other things you can do is put the clipping straight into soil and just make sure the soil is moist. Again, I just chose to put it in a little canister with water and substrate. So I'm by no means an expert at this, and I looked at Reddit and some other YouTubers and sort of compiled my process. But one of the other things and another consideration is to make sure that your plant is protected until those roots have time to be established. So keeping it free of larger reptiles that might jump on it and move it around. Keep it out of like a reach where there's drafts. Maybe if you had a fan or something that can move it around. You can put it in like a protective dome, plastic cup, clear. You still have to make sure you get adequate lighting. The other thing was to make sure I didn't overwater the plants and that the roots were mostly dry so I didn't get any root rot or fungi. Well, I'm almost certain that my classification of that peperonia is probably incorrect, but there is a Reddit site where you can take a picture and post it. I believe the subreddit is called "What's This Plant?" and those people seem very knowledgeable, so I can be more certain of what it is. But if it's not a peperonia, you can tell me what it is. Thank you. Well, that's it. Hopefully this video was helpful or at least insightful. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not an expert. Thanks for watching the video.